Okay, 21 discos. This is a long one. Oh, maybe I shouldn't read this. You know what? Because I'm in a negative mood, I'm going to read this and I'm going to stand up for myself in order to turn myself positive today. So 21 Discos said on my day in the life of the bulimic video, this isn't made for attention. Some people do suffer a lot. Their teeth rot, they become weak, they feel sensitive whenever anyone brings up the subject. But guess what? There's therapy, there's people starving, people who wish they had your body, and people who have a body 10 times worse than yours, people who can't fix it because it's an actual disease, people who have diabetes, people whose houses are broken down and burnt to the ground, whose families are killed day by day, have no one, live on the streets, but you feel the need to look better when they wish they could be you. I don't want to be mean, okay? You might be like, this is a mental illness, they can't help it. They don't force themselves to do it, but no, they can help it. They did force their fingers in and get whatever is left in their stomach out. It's because they called me fat. It's because I'm so insecure. Society did this. No, society did not do this. You did. You forced your finger down. If you have food in your fridge, a roof above your head, your doctor says you're healthy and in good condition, your significant other likes you just the way you are, which, by the way, if they don't, F them. Who do they think they are? They are effing assholes. Dump them in the trash can. Then you are to blame. Let me ask you, would you rather starve and live in a tent or be healthy, or be your healthy, normal, fine self? And if it doesn't help, how about you look up Palestine or Syria, see how real suffering looks like. Thanks. Okay, the only reason I'm going to address this is because we already struggle so much as eating disordered folk with feeling guilty about things that we cannot control. And those things are exactly what you're talking about. We can't control what's happening in Syria. We can't control when there are children out there starving. We can help. We can definitely help, but we can't fix it. Like, it should have nothing to do with our sufferings. Like, would you go to a cancer patient and say, I know you have cancer, but there are people starving around the world. Like, how dare you? How selfish are you? Like, you should be grateful for your life. Like, this is a disease that we're fighting. I'm not even saying it's as bad as cancer. I think cancer is awful, way worse than this. But this is a disease that we are fighting. Whether or not you believe that, you should just respect it. If you don't understand it, then you have no right to talk about it. You really don't. Like, oh, I'm in a mood today. Otherwise, I would have ignored this. But here's the thing. If I throw up a meal, I'm not saying that it's right. I know that it's wrong. And I know that there are plenty of people in the world. There are plenty of people down the street from me that could probably use that food. Who knows? It's not super common. You don't see a lot of homeless people on the street here in Utah. You really don't. Whenever I do, I give them money. I do what I can to help them. But as far as like, I've beat myself up about this so many times in my head, like, wow, I should really travel to Africa or somebody where there are starving children and I will be cured, because I will feel so guilty that I won't want to do it anymore. But the thing is that no matter what, no matter if it's guilt from thinking about what other people in the world are going through, or it's guilt from thinking about that there are so many people out there who have less than you have, or that don't even have a full body, that don't have legs, or that can't walk, or that can't do anything, like feeling appreciative of what they're going through is not the same as beating yourself up over it. Like, there's nothing that does not affect my my sobriety or even my beginningness to heal. Does that make any sense? This sounds so horrible. I don't know how to explain how I'm feeling. I just think it's really unfair, I guess, to compare something that is so uncomparable. Like, there are plenty of things in the world that people could be doing to help those people around the world. It's not, but like, we're attacked for it because our disorder, our mental illness has to do with food, which is something that a lot of people are lacking. And I get that. But the thing is that what kept me sick for all those years was continuously beating myself up over it, making myself feel like crap, making myself feel like I'm the most selfish, bitch in the world, because there are people out there who don't have a couch and who don't have a lovely home to live in and who don't have parents that are gracious enough to let them live in their basement or whatever, and who don't have a job, who can't find work, and they don't have food and they don't have a home and they don't have family and they don't have anything. Like, I know that there are people out there like that, but the more that we focus on beating ourselves over something that we can't control, the sicker we're going to get and the sicker we're going to stay. And I have learned this very recently, and I really wish I would have known this a long time ago. So really, the biggest reason why I am addressing this right now is because, first of all, I completely actually see your point. I get your point. I get the logic of your point. I completely do. However, I would ask you from the bottom of my soul to please not say those things to anybody suffering with an eating disorder or any mental disorder whatsoever. Every single mental disorder is a disorder. It is an illness. It is an illness in your head. That's why it's called a mental illness, because it's in your head and it's mental and it's an illness. And it is a real illness. When I see a homeless person on the street, I give them whatever I can. I give them as much as I can afford to give from my wallet. I look at people from around the world, and I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it's easier to just ignore it because it makes me feel horrible about myself when I think about those people. But realistically, like, if we're really actually going to be logical here, what is it doing for me to throw up my meal? How is that affecting somebody from across the world or even down the street when I have nothing to do with them? I have nothing to do with their life. This is my life. There are people in this world that are suffering from every illness, including mental illness that you can think of. Everybody in the world is suffering from something. And if they're not ill, they have something else going on. They might be really stressed in their life. They might be really sad. They might be depressed. They might be out of a job. They might, and then there are people that are like me who are suffering with an eating disorder and suffering with self-harm and wanting to cut themselves all the time and wanting to die and wanting to try and commit suicide over and over and over. And then there are people who are really, really, really physically sick with cancer or any other illness. It can even be a cold or whatever that feels sick. Like, everybody goes through hard times, and it's unfair to compare the two. It's unfair to say that I am a bitch because people wish that they have that, because my suffering maybe isn't as bad as their suffering. Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to stop thinking like that, because my entire life I compared myself to people that have things way worse than I do, and I still do that, but I don't let it control me anymore, because it didn't allow me to be who I was or to fix what was wrong with me, because it's like it just dismissed it right away. So how can I fix my problem if you just dismiss it right away and say, like, what the hell are you complaining about? There are people out there that would kill to have your life. Like, I know that. I'm aware of that. Like, we can do as much as we can for the world that we can do. If I was healthy enough, if I had the money, I would fly to those countries. I would go visit orphanages. I would donate money if I had the money. I would bring people food. I would go play with the little children. There's so many things that I would want to do. If I was financially, but mostly physically and mentally able to do that, I would. But I can't, because I have a mental disease. I have about 20 different physical diagnoses that keep me from doing that. I don't have a lot of money. I live with my parents. My husband and I both do. We are trying to get back on our feet, and it's hard right now. And it's okay that that's hard, even though there are people that don't even have parents to go and live with. It's okay to deal with whatever your hard situation is without feeling guilty that somebody out there has it worse. Does this make any sense to you? So what I will say to sum it up is that I completely see your logical point, but I'm going to ask you from now on to please be sensitive and realize that every single person in the entire world is going through something hard at one point or another, and it is unfair to compare and to say you have no right to feel bad when there are people out there that feel worse than you, because there's always going to be somebody out there that feels worse than you. But that doesn't mean you're not allowed to feel what you need to feel as a human being and to get through it. I love you guys very much. And even you, 21 Discos, whoever you are, I love you too. I love everybody. I even love Hitler. And I know that sounds horrible to say that, but like every single one of us has been through hard times or done something bad or whatever. And we all started out as perfect little babies. And the paths that we choose in life lead us to different ways. And sometimes that leads us into something that we do choose, like Hitler, you know? Hitler was perfect at one point. He was a sweet little baby, and I bet he was really cute. But because of the choices he made and how he treated people, that's what made him an ugly person inside. But I'm saying that he was perfect and he was beautiful at one point. And I think that what makes us beautiful is how we treat people and what we do with our lives. And sometimes it's out of our control. And we should never be made to feel guilty for that. And so every single one of you is beautiful. Every one of you has beauty in you. It's just up to you to use it. And if my channel will do freaking nothing else than to show you that it's okay. I feel so emotional today. I feel like I'm going to cry. To show you that it's okay to suffer and to also turn it into something positive and to learn from it. Like, that's what we're here for. Like, what do you think the purpose of life is? Do you think the purpose of life is just to come here and freaking just, you know, try and get the nicest car and try and get the nicest house and try and not live on the streets or try and not have an eating disorder or try, like, life in general is about going through hard things, and however you come out of it is what makes you you. That's what builds your character. That's what builds your spirit. It's not what you're going through. It's what you do with it that you're going through. I sound so preachy and bitchy right now, but stay with me. Please don't give me any more hate comments, because I clearly don't react well to them. But I'm just being honest today because I'm in one of those moods where I think I can be. And I'm a little afraid that I'm going to lose people over this. But just know that I have taken so much criticism over the past year and a half or whenever since I started this channel that hurts. It hurts me to my core. I have been called a hypocrite because of my religion. I have been called evil because of my religion. I've been called a hypocrite because of my eating disorder. I have been called fake because I'm like preaching to you guys that I want you to get better and then I'm not better yet. I have been called lazy. I have been called irresponsible. I have been called a lot of horrible names, and some of these are from my own family. And through it all, I kept effing going. Because I knew that this was going to heal my soul, and clearly it is, because had I gotten this question a year ago or a year and a half ago, I would have bawled my eyes out. I would have probably gone and slit my skin, probably my legs, and maybe a little bit of my wrists. I probably would have fallen right back into a tailspin of bulimia and anorexia, back and forth, and punching myself in the face and kicking my shin and doing all these self-abusive behaviors that I would used to do, because I back then would have absolutely believed everything that you're saying to me right now, 21 Discos. Everything that you said in those comments, I would have believed you, and I would have taken it to heart, and I would have hated myself, and I might have even committed suicide over it, because that's how sensitive I was back there. But had I not spent this past year and a half facing my demons, fighting them, fighting for what I believe in, and never, ever, 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 ever giving up on making a freaking video every week. I have not gone 1 week, except for that 1 week, and Danny did it for me, ever, of not making videos, because I know that what comes out of it is healing for me. And I'm really proud of that. I'm really proud that I'm now the kind of person that can stand up for myself and that can stand up for all of the millions of people out there who could potentially watch this someday, and to say to them that you have every right in the world to validate the fact that you are going through something hard, and that's okay. Even if somebody else is going through something harder, you are still allowed to go through your hard things. You're allowed to say that it's hard and just say those words and then work through it, rather than just being like, oh, well, you know what, other people have it worse, so I have no room to complain. It's not about complaining, it's just about addressing the problem. You have to talk about it. You have to talk about it, because otherwise you're just swallowing it and you're just you're pushing it down and you're never letting it out, and it'll just ball up and it will explode someday into something horrible, and who knows what that will be. Like, it's healthy to talk about what you're going through. It's healthy to address what you're going through, even if there are other people going through worse. I hope I don't sound like a super insensitive bitch, but I really feel strongly about this, and I never feel brave enough to say it, and I guess today I do. So I guess it's a good thing that I'm not in a good mood today. So you're welcome. Okay, since this ended up being so long, maybe I won't do another Q&A today. I guess, okay, next week, I'm going to get myself more organized, okay? And next week, I need you guys to, let's see. I've been thinking about my Q&As and what would help me actually see all the questions. And I've seen a lot of people do this on YouTube, but I never really did it myself. So what I'm going to say is, every week after my Q&A, I will tell you where to leave the questions for next week's Q&A, so that I can for sure try and get to all of your questions. And if I don't ever get to your question, it could possibly be that I already answered it, or that somebody else asked me before you did, on the same day, and I read that first, or whatever. But anyway, keep trying, get your questions in. So I will say this week, I want you to go and leave your questions on Instagram or Facebook. So I will post a photo on Instagram that says, leave your questions here. Leave your questions in the comments of that. Or you can go to my Facebook page, Educating Shanny, and leave your questions there. And that's where I'll get my questions for next week. So no YouTube comments for next week, just questions from Instagram and Facebook. And if you don't have either one of those and you absolutely need me to answer, then put it in huge block letters under this video. No other videos, just this one. So yeah, tell that's well, you're welcome for whatever the crap this was today. Oh wow, I just don't even feel like myself today. But thank you guys for being here for me. I promise I'll get through this. I'm just going through a hard time right now. Obviously, my grandma just died. I'm feeling a lot of happiness but sadness with that, obviously, and you guys know that because that's all I've been talking about, and so I feel like I shouldn't talk about it anymore. But obviously, that's still bothering me, and it will be for a while, and that's okay. So just thank you for being patient with me through this. Thank you for encouraging me, uplifting me. I have so many other comments and questions I want to get to, but I might do another one. If you see another one, then you do. And you're only going to see it if you're subscribed to me, so go subscribe. What am I even rambling about? I'm going to end this video. Okay, thank you for watching. I love you guys beyond words, and you are beautiful. You are worth it, and I do know that I am too. So thank you for watching and for being here for me. So I love you guys. Bye.